bitch, you a bird, you thought, you learn, you see, I earn, you stop. A word, I shoot, no rim, I'm high, you burn, I'm me, that's him, you nah, that's word.
But clearly, I'm on all of y'all minds.
Yeah, obviously, guys, we got the big UFC 300 pay-per-view coming up. In the main event, Alex Pereira takes on Jamahal Hill. Huge fight for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, April 13th. Here to help us preview that fight a little bit is the owner and head coach / instructor at Black Lion Jiu-Jitsu Academy. He's also the head coach of Jamahal Hill, Chad Pomeroy. How's everything going, man? Obviously, you know, we spoke a little bit before. You said you were busy, but aside from that, how's everything going with you, man? Are you good?
I'm good, man. Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely good. You know, it's things are going good here. You know, things are coming around with Jamal. Yeah, I'm excited, you know, for this next up and coming fight. I'm excited for, you know, Jamal to get it back there after this, you know, dealing with that injury. Yeah, he had dealt with his Achilles. And it's good to see him, you know, back being focused and getting ready to get this belt back, man. I'm excited for April 13th. I really am. So
since you did bring up the injury, right? Obviously, that's a big thing. It's a serious sort of injury. How has Jamal recovered from that? Like, you know, and when was he cleared to sort of get into full action?
So he was cleared. Good.
Doesn't have to be like a specific day.
Yeah, I can't remember the specific date. I mean, we started camp.
Did you ever see the Brock Lesnar meme where they ask him when he started feeling better from the diverticulitis, and he's like, I can't remember the exact day. I don't remember the exact second. I don't know if you remember that, but it's kind of random, but it was like a funny joke. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't seen that one, but yeah, no, I mean, Jamal's been doing good. I mean, the first couple of weeks, I think were a little rough just because we were trying to, you know, get his mind back to where, okay, he's healed now, and you know, he can start pushing the pace, because it was a little tough at first, having the confidence on that ankle. You know what I mean? You could definitely tell he was like holding off a little bit. His footwork wasn't as smooth as it was before. And it's, you know, the past couple of weeks, it's been coming along good. He's moving a lot better now. You know, he's got more on the balls of his feet, and you can see the confidence of like, hey, okay, this injury's healed. You know, I have nothing to worry about. You can see that, like, even today. I mean, we just got done sparring this morning, and you know, he left smiling. You know, he's ready to rock and roll, man. So it's good to see. It's good to see him in that mindset. Okay, you know, I'm ready to go, and he's ready to put on a show, man.
Good. So now we got past the injury stuff, and that could all be, you know, sort of put to rest, but I'm sure there was already some clarity on that already rather. But when you look at your page, right, on Black Lion Jiu-Jitsu, Jamahal Hill, even as a former UFC champion, doesn't seem to be above anyone else, right? Like, you see him at classes with everyone. He's hanging out with the kids. Aside from the fighter, what is Jamahal Hill like as a teammate, as a student? Because these are things people don't see behind the scenes. We just see him in the cage, but what's he like behind the scenes as a student, as a teammate?
Yeah, I mean, Jamal here, I mean, at Black Lion, we're really family based. You know what I mean? We don't have like a top guy here at the gym. You know, obviously, you know, Jamahal Hill, he's UFC champ, but we're here. We kind of focus. Everybody helps everybody out, man. You know, Jamal will come in here and he'll come in here and like help the striking guys. You know what I mean? Just something to do. You know, he'll walk in and grab some jiu-jitsu guys and kind of give his, you know, 2 cents on, hey, you know, well, when you're in this position, let's move here. And, you know,
right.
He's a great dude. You know, he helps everybody out, just like, you know, everybody helps him out, you know, during his training camps. So it's like we're all here to help each other get better, and that's how Jamal is too. He doesn't have like that, like a big head, I guess you could say. Where, like, you know, I'm the UFC champ, I'm Jamahal Hill. You know, it's just, to us, it's just Jamal, man. He's a teammate, he's a training partner, and he's gonna help us out just like we help him out, you know. So he's goofy, he can be a pain in the ass once in a while, you know, but no, at the end of the day, Jamal's a good dude, man. He's got a big heart, and yeah, he loves everybody here, and he's always trying to help everybody out.
Of course, I'd like to get into this upcoming fight, but just before that, I want to talk about this. You know, obviously, and it's behind you there, winning that UFC championship. I mean, it's literally the end goal for just about any fighter in every promotion, right? Like, that's the summit for 99% of fighters. I mean, you know, there's guys that'll be there for years and they won't even come close to the goal, right? Jamal is a UFC champion. I mean, that can never be taken away from him. I think that gets lost a little bit because he wasn't able to defend the belt, but like, man, he already did it. Like, if he was done tomorrow, he could say, you know, he's accomplished the main goal. I know there's a big fight coming up, and I don't want to focus on this too much, but to have a student become a UFC champion from your gym, you know, a gym you put blood, sweat, and tears into, what was that like for you and Jamal to know you guys reached that summit? Because that's a big freaking deal, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like, that can't be overstated, you know?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, when I started training with Jamal started training with me when he was 19, and
Wow.
I think in Michigan and MMA really wasn't huge. You know, they didn't have any sanctioned fights. It was kind of underground, you know, fights. I mean, you go to fairgrounds and they just bring in guys, and you're like, yeah, you guys are looking about
Yeah.
the same size. You guys are going to fight, and you know, we got Jamal going, and the goal I really don't think was like, hey, we're going to get to the UFC someday. You know, it was just, you know, let's just fight. We're kind of having fun with it, and then you know, he turned pro and he was starting to make money, and then yeah, he called me one night and he was like, hey man, I got this Contender Series shot. And I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. And he's like, we're flying to Vegas, man. We're going on Dana White's Contender Series. And it was just like, just that moment itself, I was just like, man, holy shit. You know, I was kind of blown back. And then, yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of seen everything helped happen from there. And, but with him getting out, I mean, I think a lot of it kind of shows at the end of the fight when I came running into the cage, you know, and Jamal kind of, you know, he kind of realized like he won, and like, you know, I realized he knew he won, and just like him and I hugged each other. And it's like, I think that kind of showed like what it meant, you know, to us, is just like him and I are really close, and I'd do anything for the guy, and you know, he'd do the same thing for me. And him winning that belt, man, it was just years of just grinding and hard work and just staying positive and just, yeah, I don't know, it was mind blowing at the end of the day, and it was yeah, it's hard to put into words, man. And it was all his work, man, and him just staying positive, and him staying true to what he wanted to do with his life, and then just me, you know, just being there and supporting him, and just kind of, you know, hey, if we're gonna do this, you know, we're gonna go all the way, and we're not stopping, you know. And when he won that belt and put that belt around his waist, man, it was just like, it was amazing, to say the least. It really was. And like you said, he's, you know, they did, you know, he had to vacate the belt, but at the end of the day, he's always going to be the champ, you know, and that's going to last for the rest of his life. And me being his coach, you know, it's awesome for me just to say, hey, you know, I got a guy there, you know what I mean? We come from, like I said, MMA wasn't big here. And, you know, we brought that UFC title right back to Grand Rapids, Michigan, man. We did it. So yeah, it's something, you know, I hold dear to my heart, and I'm like, yeah, I'll brag about it for the rest of my life, man. So, but yeah, it's awesome. And it's like, it's not going to be, you know, that one and done. I mean, dude, he's bringing that belt back home to Grand Rapids April 13th for sure, man. So it's going to be an exciting fight. I hope everybody tunes in and watches Jamal go to work again.
Yeah, that was a great answer, Coach. I love that. On the flip side, and I could see how much that meant to you, you know, winning that championship. It definitely meant a lot. And I'm glad you got it, you know, proudly hanging up there in the rafters of the gym. That's great. That's great, man. On the flip side, what's the motivation for you guys now that he's already become the champ? It's got to be getting back the belt you never lost, right? You kind of just previewed that a little bit, right? That's got to be like the main motivation.
Yeah, I think the main motivation behind that is like, because you get a lot of haters, you know, talking crap online, talking crap on Instagram and things like that. And you're you know, paper champ or chump, you know, you're fighting, you know, the guy past his prime and all this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, dude, people
the guy
can't
past
say
his prime that was just champion. I mean, that same guy, you mean?
Dude, Glover Teixeira is probably one of the toughest guys I've ever met in my entire life. You know what I mean? I can't, you know, we got guys that come in here and spar with Jamal. They do 5 minute round, then we get another fresh guy 5 minute round. And we have, like, last night we had 6 guys here last night doing 5 minute rounds with them. You know, we're just rotating guys.
Yeah.
And these guys leave banged up. These guys leave hurt. One of the guys just walked out. He's like, dude, my eyes kind of messed up. He accidentally broke 2 guys' ribs last week. You know, so for a guy like Glover to take 5 minute rounds with Jamal with MMA gloves on, you know, these guys are here sparring with, you know, 16, 18 ounce boxing gloves. Glover's a tough dude, man. And I don't like how everybody, you know, says that stuff about Glover at the end of the day.
He was literally just champion when he beat him. Like, what are we talking about? There's a reason the fight was for the vacant championship, because Glover was like one of the top 2 contenders in the division. Like, it's ridiculous. That's not that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's to me, you know, Jamal with this fight, it's just gonna, I hope it, you know, puts a lot of haters, you know, to rest, you know, and for them to see, like, you know, okay, Jamal is the real deal. And that's what I want out of this fight. I want people to realize, like, hey, you know, he didn't just win that belt because he was lucky. He won that belt because he's one of the baddest mother effers in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for this fight.
You brought up the disrespect part. I think that's interesting. Jamahal said he felt like he's been heavily disrespected by people, and because of that, he needs to go put on a beating on this guy, right? And I love that, by the way. But you know, have you sensed any chip on shoulder energy in preparation for this one? Because he almost seems angry, but like in a good way, like he's almost channeling that anger. And I don't know if that's always how he is, but you know, have you sensed that in the preparation for this fight?
No, not really. I mean, he's been pretty positive. He knows at the end of the day, this is a sport, and this is a profession. This is a business.
Mm.
He doesn't really. He doesn't say anything negative about Alex.
Yeah,
You know,
it seems like
he
he likes
knows.
him from what I saw in interviews. It doesn't seem personal or anything.
Yeah, there's nothing really personal about it. I think he just wants to shut the haters up at the end
Yeah.
of the day. You know what I mean? You get a lot of guys saying, "Hey, you're going to get knocked out," and all this kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, anything can happen in a fight by any of these guys. When you get to this level of mixed martial arts, anybody can get caught by anybody, and have a bad day. But at the same time, it's like I want Jamal's going to go in there. He's going to put on a show, for everybody. He's going to do what he needs to do to win, regardless. I mean, Jamal is a well-rounded mixed martial arts fighter. People will say stuff like he's bad on the ground and all this kind of stuff, just because he hasn't had to show it. You know what I mean? Wherever the fight goes, Jamal's gonna keep control. Period. If it goes to the ground, Jamal's got a better ground game to stay striking, because everybody wants to see the stand-up game and wants a stand-up fight. But we're gonna do whatever it takes to bring that belt back to Grand Rapids. Period. And then he's gonna put on a show for everybody, and then nobody's gonna be able to say anything after this fight.
I'm pretty confident saying that Pereira and Hill are two great strikers, but everywhere else, I would give the advantage to Jamahal Hill. He did an interview recently with Demetrius Johnson saying something very interesting. He said he plans on knocking Alex out. And then he said even a few months before that he plans on doing it standing up. I mean, are you guys fully prepared to have a straight up kickboxing match with this guy for 25 minutes? Because Jamahal seems to be very confident that he can do that. Or I mean, I guess if he knocks him out, it won't even be 25 minutes. But
I mean,
yeah,
what I mean? We're preparing for everything. At the end of the day, we're focused. It's because it's different. We kind of take every fight camp like by who we're fighting.
Okay.
When we fought Glover, we focused heavy on takedown defense. Scrambling from getting back up from the bottom. And obviously, you seen from that fight, Glover. I mean, he got him down, but Jamal got right back up. And there was a point in the fight where Jamal got on top of Glover and was holding Glover down and pounding him. So we focused our training camps on who the opponents were fighting. Yes, we're focusing a lot on stand-up for this fight because that's primarily what Alex is. But if it gets to a position where we can take Alex down, we're going to take him down, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal chokes him out or submits him, honestly. So Jamal can take the fight anywhere, and I guarantee he's going to be dominant in every round for sure.
As far as the matchup, I mean, Alex Pereira, very scary guy to me, but I'm not a fighter, so probably not so scary for Jamal, right? But do you guys like the matchup as far as the things Alex does well? Do you feel like it's a good matchup for you?
I do. I think it's a good fight for everybody, for Jamal to showcase his striking and his stand up. I don't want to sit there and say like Alex is a one-dimensional fighter. He kind of is at the end of the day.
I mean, he's a kickboxer, right? He comes from the kickboxing world. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I know he's training with Glover, so he's got to know some ground game.
Sure.
But I like the fight just because Alex got the belt, and Jamal's going to bring it back. At the end of the day, I like the fight just because we're fighting the champ, and that's what I kind of personally like about it. I don't care who it was at the end of the day. We train for whoever we're fighting, but I'm glad that that we were called back first, to kind of get for the next fight after Alex won the belt in New York against Yuri. But at the end of the day, I mean, the next fight, if they're saying it's going to be Ankalaev, we'll focus on that. It's just whoever wants to step up to the plate is going to be the next one, falling down. So, but yeah, man, it's going to be a good fight. I'm excited for it. Alex is really good, striking, and we're focused on a lot of what he does good, what he does well, and we're gonna, we're training for his best. We're training for the best Alex Pereira at the end of the day. And to me, I'm not gonna sit there and say and get overconfident, but Alex can train as hard as he wants, but it ain't gonna matter once he steps in. Once that cage door closes, Alex, he's not going to be able to, once that cage door closes, I mean, he's going to realize he's stepped in a cage with a different level of fighter when he fights Jamahal, for sure.
Pereira's leg kicks seem to really play a huge role in his success. Have you guys been working on things to negate those leg kicks? And you know, by the way, Jamahal Hill even being in a southpaw, that should definitely mess up things a little bit, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I know when Alex fought Izzy, Izzy was switching back and forth. He's switching from orthodox. He was switching to southpaw. So we've been really watching. We've been watching a lot of tape, kind of seeing how he reacts to different stances when he's fighting his opponents. And yeah, we've been focusing on the leg kicks. We've been bringing in some really good Thai boxers, been coming in here to throw a lot of leg kicks, throw a lot of knees, throw some elbows. So we're prepared for everything. We have a pretty good game plan on what we're going to do. I don't want to kind of say too much,
Sure,
but we definitely have everything laid out to where we're pretty confident with that. We'll have the upper hand, regardless of where it goes. As far as the striking, Jamal's very good at switching to orthodox. He's very good at switching to southpaw. So, you know, there's things that we're focusing on, that things that we can do if he does go orthodox, you know, how can we counter Alex's kicks? And then there's things we're focusing on that if we're switching back to southpaw, how we can work from there. So yeah, we're pretty confident wherever we go, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamal also said something interesting. He said that he's been bred for MMA. And honestly, Alex, again, has been a kickboxer for essentially his whole life, right? I think that's something that can really play a factor in this fight, right? Like Jamal being like a legit mixed martial artist, like anywhere it goes, I have no doubts that he'll at least play his role, right? Alex, not so sure. Like we saw him in the Izzy fight do a little bit of grappling, but again, not so sure. Do you feel like that could be a legitimate difference in this fight, just Jamal Hill being the more full spectrum mixed martial artist?
I mean, I do. I definitely do. I mean, he's definitely more well-rounded, I guess you could say, in the mixed martial arts. As far as his years of grappling, Jamal's been grappling for years. I mean, the brown belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm not sure really what Alex does for grappling. I mean, obviously he grapples with Glover and things like that. So he's not. I'm not going to sit there and say he doesn't know anything. So I definitely feel we have the upper hand when it comes to the ground. Period.
I'm sure Glover's been trying to help him out, right? Because he fought him, right? I'm sure you guys are aware of that, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, Jamal did beat him though, so maybe I don't know how much you could teach.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's the thing with Jamal. If you watch his fights, he comes in. Every fight's different. I mean, like I said, we kind of focus our training camps on the individual we're fighting. You know, we knew exactly what we were kind of getting into with Glover. We knew we were getting in with Tiago. We knew where we were getting in with Johnny Walker. You know, everybody, Jimmy Crute, everybody. And we focus. We watch so much tape and we focus on these guys so much that we can see where we can capitalize on these guys, and not let Jamal kind of get a big head and say, and like go into where he's reading all these comments like stand up with Alex. At the end of the day, man, we're going there to win a fight, period. You know, there's not going to be like, well, I'm just going to stand up with them and see what happens. No, we're gonna take the fight where we need to come out with a win. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if it's you know, if it stands up and Jamal, you know, knocks him out, great. If it gets crazy and gets him too close, Jamal takes him down, we're going to be perfectly comfortable there too. So it really don't matter. But yeah,
absolutely. Just a few more questions here. I do appreciate the time, man.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So, you know, Jamal Hill obviously is a legit championship caliber fighter now. Like he's grown into a legit world champion level fighter, right? Was there, you know, as his coach, right, for such a long time, did you see a turning point where you were like, oh yeah, this dude's like a legit top flight fighter in the UFC? I mean, obviously the Paul Craig fight, right, had to have been a learning lesson for him, right? I mean, was there like a specific turning point that you saw where things just got taken up to the next level, like from maybe contender to like champion level fighter?
Yeah, I mean, with the Paul Craig fight, I think Jamal with that fight got in his own head a little bit, and I think he kind of just overlooked Paul a little bit. You know, Paul's ground game.
Okay.
Paul's known for his jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? And I think Jamal let that get in his head to where, you know, I don't care. You know, we'll go to the ground. We'll test Paul's guard. And, you know, we kind of fell right into what Paul wanted, you know, at the end of the day. But to go back to the question about when I thought everything switched to me personally, I think it was the OSP fight. That because, you know, Ovince St. Prude's been around the sport for so long, and he's fought everybody, you know, he's fought for everybody in the top, you know, the top 10. He's fought like some of the best in the world. And to me, when we got the call for the OSP fight, I was just like, oh my God. I was nervous, to say the least. I mean, and when Jamahal went in there and did what he did to OSP, I was like, man, that's it. Like
he's ready.
He's ready. I think it was the OSP fight for sure. Watching that one, because, you know, when he fought, it was it Klitz and Abreu, and I mean, even Jimmy Crute. I mean, Jimmy Crute's a hell of a fighter too, but to me, I think it was just OSP, because that dude he's been around for so long. Yeah, man, he's been tested, and he's won so many fights, and he's a really good fighter. And yeah, I think for sure. Ovince St. Prude, man. Once he won that one, I was like, yeah, dude, we're going somewhere for sure.
Yeah, good answer, man. What's the rest of your training camp look like? Obviously, we're just a few weeks away here from UFC 300. Is there anything you guys are going to be keying in on over the last few weeks?
No, we're kind of still going to keep focused on the same things that we've been working on. You know, we're still working on the strength and conditioning. We're getting a lot of that going. Recovery has been a really big thing, just because he did have probably about 3-4 weeks ago, he did have a groin strain. So we've kind of had to tailor things down a little bit to kind of work around that. And it's been going good, really good now. We kind of like roll back on the grappling a little bit so much, just because of the groin, you know, working from guard and things like that. But the biggest thing I think is just kind of keeping him sharp, keeping him moving, you know, working on counters, you know, and then just keeping him healthy. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we got a pretty good schedule going on, to where, you know, on mornings when he's training, you know, in the early afternoons, he's doing his recovery and he's doing his massage therapy and things like that. And then we come back in the evening, we grind a little harder in the evening. And then he gets with his nutritionist, Ian. You know, he gets rehydrated, you know, gets good meals in him, and then he relaxes in the evening. So there's really nothing I think it's really going to change over the next few weeks. It's just keeping his mind focused, keeping him his mind clear, you know, and just focus on the prize, man, at the end of the day.
There we go. Eyes on the prize, guys. UFC 300, April 13th. Jamahal Hill returns to, you know, obviously to get back the title he never lost, right? He's taking on Alex Pereira. Big fight for you guys. Very excited. And Coach, thanks for joining the show. I do appreciate the time. I'm sure you're busy, so
appreciate it.
It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I appreciate you know, getting to talk with you and things like that. And so hopefully maybe we'll have to get together again after we got that belt back here again.
Absolutely. 2 gold belts after.
Definitely.
Take care.
Hey, thanks, you too.
Whenever I do fight him, standing, I will knock him out. And when I do, I'm going to rub it in every single one of y'all face.